It's the Astro-Zombies. The special effects don't get any better from here on out. This is just one of the many films from visionary director Ted V. Mikels, a man as outlandish and amazing as the films he makes. In this case, you get a star-studded film involving solar-powered zombie assassins, CIA agents, commies, organized crime, and anything else that can be crammed into its running time. And all it cost to make was $37,000, and the blood, sweat, and tears of the director, of course. The film starts out with a pretty young thing driving home in her house-sized convertible and pulling into her garage, only to be accosted by an Astro-Zombie. These things have a skull-like head, a gaping maw for a mouth, solar paneling on the top, and dress in dark tops and jeans. This one also likes to hack up women after they drive home from the market. The Astro-Zombies are cheap, like everything else here. But they are also awesome and even iconic. Again, like everything else here. But what is an Astro-Zombie? Astro-Zombies are the brainchild of Dr. DeMarco, played here by John Carradine. The idea behind the creatures was to create a way to transfer someone's consciousness to another, more powerful body in order to survive long trips in space. Not dissimilar to that story by H.P. Lovecraft, The Whisperer in Darkness. But DeMarco's experiments made some of the government types nervous, and he was kicked off the program. This has not stopped DeMarco, however, from setting up a makeshift lab and continuing his work. He putters around his lab, spouting lots of scientific babble that actually sort of makes sense if you listen to it.
It is done, Francho. We will add this circuit to the memory bank until we can effect an exchange with the first Astro Man. One day we'll be able to fill the memory bank with the most brilliant minds in the world, preserved forever for the benefit of mankind, to call on them for their knowledge. Quickly now, Francho. The blood exchanger.
And, you know, let's give Dr. DeMarco credit. I mean, sure, he has inadvertently created a zombified killing machine. But they are solar-powered. We have an energy crisis on our hands here, people. With our reliance on fossil fuels costing us extra money at the pump, lots of stress in the Middle East, and potential environmental catastrophe. And here we have Dr. DeMarco, forward-thinking and embracing green energy. His Astro-Zombies are also clever enough to improvise, such as when this one loses its backup generator and presses a flashlight against his head to stay alive.
Hey, quit laughing, I'm just trying to stay alive here.
DeMarco is trying to create another Astro-Zombie, since the one he's already created is going around killing people. This has nothing to do with what DeMarco had planned, and everything to do with using the brain of a violent criminal. So, whoopsie. Chalk that up on the error side of trial and error. DeMarco's got bigger problems, though. His secret experiments aren't as secret as he thinks. For one thing, he has the CIA finally getting wise to his shenanigans. The director, played by Wendell Corey in his final role, tasks a handful of scientists and agents to find out where DeMarco is and what he's up to, even as the rogue Astro-Zombie starts hunting down the people who previously worked under DeMarco. Because of budget constraints, Astro-Zombies is one of those films with low-rent G-men. In other words, yes, America is a superpower with lots of resources at their disposal, but we only see a couple of the secret agents on screen at one time. And instead of using jetpacks to fly over Marseille, they use their pistols and run through the back alleys of Santa Monica or wherever this is. Of course, all of this just feeds this atmosphere of clandestine activity happening right under the nose of the straight world. And are they just chasing the Astro-Zombies themselves? Oh no! Because the evil Satana has also gotten wind of DeMarco's experiments and wants to use them for herself. Satana is played by Tura Satana in her first credited screen role after Russ Meyer's classic Faster Pussycat, Kill Kill. Mikels pictured Satana as a domineering, modern take on the Dragon Lady from the old Terry and the Pirates comic strips. She may be acting as a rogue agent, or she may be working for the communists. Whatever the case, her eyes are set on getting the Astro-Zombies all for herself. Her goal is nothing less than world domination. In order to do this, she is not above torturing and killing anyone who gets in her way.
Who are you? Come on. Who are you? Kill him.
She is aided by a Lawrence Tierney-esque mob enforcer type, and Juan, a Latino creep who loves flicking out his switchblade and dancing around like he's in a touring company of West Side Story. There's lots of fun to be had in this film. You've got secret agents chasing each other through city streets, robot zombie monsters with an insatiable bloodlust, mad scientists who of course insist that it is actually society that is mad, sophisticated couples checking out sexy stage shows as they always seem to do in these films. Just look at how many do this in Jess Franco's films alone. Oh, and a hero who doesn't really do too much that is actually heroic throughout the whole film. And yet, if you check out the online reviews of Astro-Zombies, even from the blogs that share a love for these types of films, you will see a common criticism. This criticism is that there are stretches in the films where they say nothing much happens. Many accuse the film of being slow, or, God forbid, even boring. Now, as you know, here at Moviocrity, we agree with Joe Bob Briggs' old assessment that a film has a right to be anything it wants to be, except boring. I acknowledge that there are a few red herrings and a couple sequences where we play the waiting game along with the main characters. Make friends with padding, people. You're gonna get a lot of it here. And yet, I personally have never found the Astro-Zombies boring, though I acknowledge that there are some who might disagree. So, what gives? How does this escape falling into the boredom trap for me? Too often, our impatience gets the better of us. We watch films anxiously awaiting the next thing to come, and our mind is not on the present. So, to truly give a fair appreciation of films, I find it helps to view them a specific way. I slip into what I call, for lack of a better term, Zen mode. This means you don't focus on what just happened on the screen, nor do you wonder or await what is to come in the future. Instead, you simply watch the film unfold before your eyes and live in the present, taking each moment and experience as it comes, and then letting it go and moving on, in a continuous, fluid process. Only when the film is over can one put all the pieces together and accurately pass judgment upon it. This isn't a cop-out. There are many films, be they the art house films, all the way to the exploitation flicks, such as the ones marketed by Something Weird Video, in which the Zen mode approach greatly enhances your appreciation of the film. You've all gone on trips before. Did you have more fun when you were watching the scenery and experiencing everything as it came, or when you were kicking the back seat screaming, "Are we there yet?" Well, cinema is like that. Each film is a journey. When we tell our short attention spans to take a hike, that we are going to trust the filmmaker to drive this thing and get us where we need to go, That's how you can really appreciate what is being offered. Surrender yourself. The stories do not unfold on your terms, but on the terms of the storyteller, and this is how they must be assessed. Now, I can't guarantee that when the dust settles, your assessment will always be a positive one. Likewise, I haven't always been able to apply this to every film as I should. But it's a process. Discipline is part of the deal here. There are still boring films, but in my book, Astro-Zombies is far from being one of them. Are you kidding? This one has adventure without shame written all over it. And Astro-Zombies wouldn't be Astro-Zombies without a cut-up like Ted V. Mikels pulling the strings. Mikels is one of those multi-talented indie pioneers, often serving as writer, director, producer, editor, and in any other number of capacities depending on the film he's working on. He has never stuck to one genre. Instead, he has put his own personal stamp on thrillers, horror films, dramas, cautionary tales, social statements, women in prison pictures, family entertainment, and action films. Mikels has continued to make films throughout the years, on limited budgets, but also on his own terms. There are too many films to cover in any depth here, and honestly, any one of them would deserve their own episode of Moviocrity. Mikels has been able to adapt with the changing landscape and create new, exciting projects, including sequels to some of his most famous films. Yes, there are 3 sequels to the Astro-Zombies, all of which have been made in the 21st century. Because of Mikels' embracing of the adventure without shame ethos, these will be covered by Moviocrity in the future as well. Because if you think the Astro-Zombies is a trip, you have no idea.
Hey, Ted, that was scary. Astro-Zombies are scary? Yeah. Outer space stuff? Well, what can one say? Astro-Zombies are scary people.
The Astro-Zombies. You will die 1,000 deaths.